Adams in Montclair. April, strike that. August 25th, 1968. 3 Black Panthers by the name of Tommy Lewis, Robert Lawrence, and Steve Bartholomew. Between the ages of 18 and 22, they were coming from the West Adams office of the Black Panther Party. Police terrorists knew Black Panther Party members' license number. They got behind them, knowing that they were up to no good. I'm talking about the police terrorists. Brothers pulled up into this lot right here. This used to be a gas station. And the police terrorists opened up on them. Yeah. Tommy Lewis,
speak to the people.
Tommy Lewis was able to get off a couple of rounds, but none of the terrorists died. Tommy Lewis is near and dear to me. We went to Fremont High School together and Drew Middle School together. Funny guy, you remember Tommy. Funny guy. Before Tandy always told me to personalize it, right, Tandy? Yes. Tandy, anyway, Tommy was funny, and me and him and I had the same girlfriend. He won Sandra Hart.
Who was first?
Sharon Hart. No, he beat me out of it. She liked him a little more.
She chose him.
She chose him.
That's right.
But beautiful cat, funny, love the brother. This was the type of commitment that they had back in the day.
Yeah, this is it.
This right here, this location
Right
right here?
here.
Okay.
It tore the building down. It was right there.
How long you got around so you can hear?
4115 and 4115 and a half. It was a 2-story building. And, our offices were right here. And this is where I'd been in the sewers that night. Because we were trying to build an escape route. And the original plan was to shoot it out as long as we could and then escape to the sewers and blow the office. That's how intense the situation was at that time. After Martin Luther King got killed, Eldridge Cleaver, the direction that he took in the party was that Eldridge only saw war, total war. And the party became very militant. And then also the police repression was so great until a lot of us, we were all young, went into a get back mode, the thing where, we were gonna get back. They were doing a lot of things to us, like the ambush with Tommy Lewis and whatnot and whatever. They were jumping on us every day. They were arresting us day and night. And it really got very personal. There were a lot of police officers at that time. I guess they were young too, and they were low riding as police. So the situation was very violent, very intense. There wasn't nobody playing. The executive order had come down till if you carried a gun, be prepared to use it. Don't just give it to the police. So that was our mindset at that time. The mindset was not no playing. It was no in between. And again, I was in the sewers that night. I met Geronimo right out front. And I told him that while we were in the sewers, we had seen some police activity over on Hooker Avenue. And he said, well, he had an informant that told him that the raid would go down any day now. And he had me go to the gun room to clean some guns. And that's where I fell asleep. So when Cotton woke me up, and he said they were out there, I grabbed the gun that I had in my lap, the rifle, and was walking up toward the front door. The front door blew open. They had hit it with the ram, and when the door blew open, I jumped to the side, and the police ran by me. Cotton had continued into the gun room and he got a Thompson 45. So when they ran by me, Cotton came back out the gun room with the Thompson and he opened up. And I guess the force of the bullets, they were wearing bulletproof vests, jammed them up right at the door. And when they fell, when they fell back toward my position, I opened up with the shotgun. And then by that time, Paul Red had woke up and he got off, you know, and we shot him back out the door. And that's how it started. That was it. Right.
And we're paying respects to those soldiers, predominantly brothers who gave their lives for us. We said we need to incorporate some sisters. So we decided to come to this institution, which owes its existence to a Black woman by the name of Biddy Mason. City of Los Angeles, in part, owes its existence to a sister by the name of Biddy Mason, who came here as a slave and got her freedom and did the kind of work sisters do to amass wealth. Gave some land to the city of Los Angeles, gave some land to the establishment of First AME Church. This is a historic institution in Black Los Angeles. It is an institution. It outlives people. That's very, very important because institutions can be neutral. It is dependent upon the people who are in charge of those institutions. In 1971 or 1970, when there was the war going on, that COINTELPRO helped to foment within the Black Panther Party, and our sister Sandra Red Pratt was murdered, no institution would have her funeral except this church.
The FBI and CIA put on all the radio stations that there would be a shootout at the funeral between the Huey Newton's group and the Elders, so it wasn't that well attended. Beverly, Somalia, and the other Panther sisters, they had a little group called the Revolutionary Charge. We made a beautiful flag, and Harrison and Ross was in charge of everything. None of her parents or nobody in her family showed up. So everything was on me, and I was just like a walking zombie. I had to go way out to get the programs and everything. And one very important person spoke here, Yvonne Brathwaite Burke. She spoke here, and that was good. So at the services, I asked that a collection be taken up to help me to pay for the funeral. And the FBI and CIA guys put silver pennies in the collection. And I'll never forget that.
Sandra Red Pratt was a sister who was known as a working girl, if y'all know what I mean. One of them sisters on the stroll. She came into the Black Panther Party and linked up with Geronimo and other brothers and sisters. She had a consciousness of her own. It was a symbiotic relationship. She conscientized them, they conscientized her. As you can see, Geronimo wrote this lovingly about the revolutionary leadership traits that she exemplified. I thought it was important that we come here today to pay honor and respect to her spirit, because we talk about how important it is for people to see themselves. It's important for women to have role models and see themselves also. Sandra Red Pratt, who was the mate of Geronimo Jijaga, she was 8 months pregnant. She disappeared, and they found her body in this area, November 5th, 1971. 8 months pregnant, she was shot 8 times. 1 bullet for every month of the child she had been carrying. At the time she was murdered, they thought it was because of the Newton-Cleaver split exacerbated by COINTELPRO in the Black Panther Party. Later on, there was information that maybe it had something to do with her former life. To this day, we don't know. We don't know who killed her, but we do know that she stood as a symbol of a Black woman soldier. The way we talk about and feel about Assata, before Assata, there was Sandra Red Pratt. And again, at First AME Church at that time, First AME was the only church that allowed her funeral. She was cremated and her ashes are at Angelus Abbey, but this is the spot, the last spot where her spirit may have been. So we come here to give honor and respect to her, and we want to leave these flowers. Because again, when we talk about sisters, it's important that we see ourselves in leadership roles. It's important also to understand that we, as Black people, we are under attack. Men face the most direct result. That's why we always hear about men. But we know that sisters are not safe either. This is an example from 1971, but we can talk about Rekia Boyd, who was killed just the other year in Chicago with a stray bullet. We can talk about various sisters who have also lost their lives, either in struggle or just being a Black woman in America. But because this is Black August and we honor the fallen, I thought it was important that we come out here to this spot where her body was found in 1971.
I know that during that period of time, Conrad was valiantly fighting for his life. Because of the life of Conrad. And kind of support that they got came from people who had revolutionary conscience. In 1970, Black Panther Party was strong. And inside, those of us who were involved in struggle inside, we embraced Black Panther Party because they were about resistance to what was going on. And that's what we did. It was about resistance inside. And to have these support committees, we was able to mobilize thousands of people, and even people internationally. I mean, that was a beautiful thing for us to see, you know, being inside. And it's heavy, man. This is heavy, you know, Conrad being murdered, never get the chance to get out of here. Going to jail for a $70 robbery, doing 11 years. I can't talk about this.
That's right. All right, come.
Nothing I can really say.
Wow.
We just want to thank you. This is the last thing about tour. And I just want to let you all know that it has had touched me in a very special way. And I'm just proud to be a part of this occasion. I want each and every one to keep the spirit moving up. Right. Don't speak that. Okay. Black August tonight, Black August tomorrow, Black August forever.
Let you make over here. Try to get this. I don't think that any of us gave any thought to the fact that one, we'd be here. Two, going into prison, that we would be affected by the comrade and what started here in defense of him. I mean, I think it's real appropriate that these comrades had the opportunity to make it down here and see this is part of the origin. You know, we talk about the movement inside, Black Liberation Movement. Brother just called Hazim. We started together in the mid-70s. You know, but it was brothers like Shujo and Sunyat and the rest of the comrades that inspired us. You know, I walk around this cane, I'm faking you. I really can let the cane. There you go. That's right. I'm still standing tall. There you are. I'm still part of this fight. That's right. We're going to be part of this fight until we die. That's right. His niece is here. Where's Kim? Lynn and Kim. There you go. Everybody tell you said fine. All right.
He was.
All right.
He was fine, and Glenn was handsome.
All right.
These two.
All right.
Bunchy first wanted to start with the Panthers. Gone up to Oakland. Got all this information and came back to LA. Went to his mama's house, which is my grandmother's house, and went in the refrigerator. Saw all this pork. Started throwing it out. So my grandmother called my dad. You need to come and talk to him. He's over here throwing away good food and talking about, the other, and hey. So Daddy invited Bunch to come to the house. Daddy tried to talk Bunchy out of this organization. He tried. He implored. He put family on the spot. He used everything he could possibly, but I'm destined for this. This is my destiny. Once he made that decision, my Uncle Glenn, there's no way you're stepping out here without my protection.
That's right.
You're my baby brother. So wherever you go, whatever you do, I am by your side. And they roll like that. They roll like that. That's kids. They've been here longer than I've been alive. Or about as close as I've been alive. I was a little girl when they both left, 9 months apart. Shattered my family in a way that I don't know. It shattered. It caused grief. It caused heartache. But the resilience never left. My grandmother continued her fight within the community. She made sure Martin Luther King Hospital was equipped. But on the boards. So he got this through his DNA.
Right.
Warriors for life.
Okay, this is where Walter Ray Pope was assassinated. Also, Bruce Richard was wounded. October 1969. Pig said that the brothers were trying to ambush them from behind, but this was nothing but another COINTELPRO coordinated assassination of freedom fighters. This used to be a jack in the box. The Pig said they had the place under surveillance for an alleged robbery. There was some robbery. I lived down the street. That's the Outline Garden Project. Anyway, I only got about 32 more seconds. So 22 more seconds. So this is where Walter Ray Pope was assassinated. Black Panther Party Southern California chapter opened a center called the Walter Ray Pope Community Center on Vermont and Exposition. That was one of the 3 locations that the Pigs vamped on, as we used to say, December 8th, 1969.
We're approaching 116th and Avalon, December 11th, 1965. This is where the Watch Revolt started. Revolt started with police harassing a young black man by the name of Marquette Fry. Did I get his name right, y'all?
Yes, you did.
Marquette Fry's mother had a beauty salon, or either was a worker in this beauty salon when we approached 116. She had on a smock. Is that what you call it? Wait, smock?
Beauty salons.
Yes. You see the church right there in that area. Is that a church yet? So right there in that area was where the beauty salon was. Well, like a mother would do when she saw her son being brutalized by the highway patrol, she came out and got busy. And the highway patrol attacked her, and the people attacked them. And then it spiraled out, radiated out to most of what some people call South Los Angeles, South Central Los Angeles, and Watts. 34 people roughly were killed. One fireman was killed. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. I believe one sheriff was killed. All right? Well, I'm the only one. I know one of y'all in here that were around in 1965. I was 15 years old. But anyway, this is where the Watts revolt occurred.
Right to your left is the street. It's a house right over here to your left. That's where we stopped the car at. And police come from behind, 2 cars. There's 3 cars and police officers behind us. A total of 6 police officers. 2 of them in plain clothes. It was 4 of them in plain clothes. There was the criminal conspiracy section. And also there was an FBI agent that was way back in the background. And 2 black and whites. 1 black and white car with 2 police officers approached the back of the car. I was sitting in the passenger seat in the rear. Red Boudreaux was driving. John Bowman was sitting in front of me, and the police officer on my side of the car. When they got to the back of the car, he hit the back of the truck, trying to get me to turn around and look in the wrong direction. But I never moved because I knew their tactic. And when I looked back up through my window, he was standing there with his gun out. And I asked him what was the problem. He told me to put my hands on the front seat. When I put my hands on the front seat, he kept screaming at me to put my hands on the front seat. I said, my hands are on the front seat. And at that point, I don't know what made me do it, but I just knew that he was getting ready to shoot. And I just moved my head slightly to my left to look out and see where the other cop was. And he shot me. I threw my leg up, and he shot me again and shot me in my leg. I grabbed my pistol and I turned back and shot him. Ray turned around and the other cop was behind him, shooting at him and JP. And it's just a volley of gunshots come from the rear of the car. The windshield went out, shot me in the side of my head. And they beat me, and well, shooting went on for about maybe 2 minutes at the most. It seemed like forever. But it was numerous people hollering and screaming, and I could, from my viewpoint in the car, in the back seat, I could see this little black woman in her window screaming and crying for them to stop shooting. By then, we were all shot up. And they kept screaming that we wasn't shot up and that they was going to kill us because we had shot a police officer. After they drug us out, that was at 9 o'clock in the evening. We didn't get to the hospital till 11:30.
All right, comrades, can you hear me? Yes. Across the street, the Compton Sheriff's Station used to be known as the Compton Police Department. In June of 1970, Tommy Harper, later to take the name of Ndugu Didi, allegedly tried to throw a bomb on the roof of the Compton police station. The bomb came back down and it killed Ndugu Didi.
How many? Wait a minute, brother. This is backing up, brother.
I don't need that thing, man.
No, step back there. Step back there.
All right.
Step back. Get closer. Get closer.
Okay. When the police, or as George said, the enemy culture, all that old propaganda you read about, that you got some good police, you got your bad police, keep dreaming that. When they get you down, especially behind them walls, I never was behind the walls, I was in the county.
most of my time. When they get you down, they don't have any mercy for you. No mercy. Don't expect none from them. When the move was made, the pigs made up a song. And it went something like, old little Tommy had a ball, E-I-E-I-O. Old little Tommy was in 1,000 pieces, E-I-E-I-O. That's what these pigs used to sing. See? So that happened right here. Tommy he wore glasses. They were thick glasses. And when Tommy was coming up, folks used to, talk about it. But if you really got to know Tommy, he was a courageous comrade. All right, he was part of the Black Student Alliance. Many of you know Lil Joe. Yeah, Lil Joe and him were close friends. And again, right there at the Compton Police Station.
Wait a minute. I think right here is the house, where the house used to stand, where the Symbionese Liberation Army was attacked by the LAPD and the FBI. They say one of the most furious firefights in LA history took place that day. And also one of the tactics that has been repeated over and over, where they said they couldn't shoot them out, so they burned them out and burned them up. They said when people tried to escape the flames, they were shot. As the same they did with the MOVE organization. When people came out, the children came out, they would drive them back in with gunfire. Because the Symbionese Liberation Army had kidnapped Patty Hearst, converted her into a soldier for their cause, and because they had a lot of white members, and because two of those members had assassinated a black school superintendent, Marcus Foster, in Oakland, because he proposed a security measures, I think, wanted police on campus. He was assassinated with cyanide bullets. So there were a lot of misgivings about the SLA.